Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news show, which is back after a week off. Connor was on vacation last week, and as a result, we didn't have an episode. So there's some news from last week as well, it's rolled into this week's, but this is our news show where we look through renewals, cancellations, premiere dates, pilot orders, all that kind of thing.
All the yada 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 stuff.
And we talk about them. So that's what we do. It's that simple. Here we are. Do you know what it is? I feel like I do the introduction to this show and it feels like it should be longer. So I get to the end of that little blurb and just think, I feel like I've not introed enough yet. I have to say something else in an introductory manner. And there's not really anything else to say.
Yeah.
It's strange. I'll tell you what.
You could introduce the first piece of news.
I'll promote something. Hey, we reviewed an episode 1 from Netflix called Shadow this weekend, and we put a review of that up. It's a South African original from Netflix, and you can go check out our thoughts on that. So it's on the YouTube page. It's also, of course, on the Netflix Reviews audio feed that we have. So
I will give away nothing.
First piece of news then. We have some renewals. Brooklyn Nine-Nine got renewed for Season 7. It's currently halfway through its 6th season, which is interesting to me because back when we thought it was cancelled and it got picked up, we'd heard that they were planning the 6th season as their final season. You could argue that because they got less episodes, that was, it's like, okay, it's like now split into 2 shorter seasons. But Season 6 actually got a bumped up episode order. It went up to 18.
I guess it's performing well for them.
I guess it is. I mean, it's happy on NBC. So, I mean, I've not watched any of Season 6 yet, but I love the show, so I
haven't even watched Season 5 yet, although I'll probably start soon.
But I am pleased by this news because I like the show a lot, so good to hear. Star Trek Discovery got renewed for Season 3 this past couple of weeks on CBS All Access, and it also promoted Michelle Paradise to co-showrunner. Now, they're not kicking away the current showrunner, but because that's happened before. This has happened like twice on this show where the showrunner's been booted and replaced. This is not a replacement. This is now someone is co-showrunning. So
I suspect because the official co-run at the minute is still Kurtzman, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, unless I'm mistaken, I thought he was the one running the show. I suspect if that is the case, he is being busy, involved in all the other shows that are going on.
Yes.
So he's taking a bit more of a backseat role next year.
Yeah, that may be the case. So, hey,
I don't think there's anything to worry about. From what I saw, she's been in the writers' room for the back half of this season.
There was rumours that they were going to either cancel Discovery or just cut back on the Star Trek. I don't know where that came from because everything else seems to indicate that they're going full steam ahead and having Star Trek all year round. This just kind of goes back to that theory, so here we are. The Sinner has been renewed for a 3rd season, which is kind of an anthology, but kind of not. It's got the same main character. Bill Pullman comes back as a detective each time.
Right.
But the actual plot is
a
a different case, different characters, because it was Jessica Biel in the 1st season. She wasn't in Season 2, will not be in Season 3. Matt Bomer is going to be in Season 3, who we've been seeing on Doom Patrol recently.
Yeah, I like Matt Bomer well enough.
So yeah, 3rd season follows Detective Harry Ambrose, played by Pillman, as he begins a routine investigation into a tragic car accident on the outskirts of Dorchester, in upstate New York. Ambrose uncovers a hidden crime that pulls him into the most dangerous and disturbing case of his career. Very vague description, but if you like the first 2 seasons, you're in.
Yep.
So
yeah, but obviously, I mean, we didn't love the first episode that we tried.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't
bad. I just didn't really care about it. But people seem to love this show.
Yeah, we weren't super. Yeah, people are into it. We weren't that enthused by it, but people do seem to like it.
Yeah, it's far from the worst thing we've seen.
So premiere dates, the OA. That's right. This happened last week when you were here, so we didn't talk about it.
Still hasn't sunk in.
The OA Part 2. Most shows would call this Season 2, but the OA is calling this Part 2. The OA Part 2 is coming March 22nd on Netflix. Season 1 was December 2016.
Yep.
To put that in perspective, it has been
so comfortably over 2 years.
Over 2 years, and Season 2 looks very different. I can't really tell you what it's about without spoiling Season 1, to be honest. So I shall simply say that it's shaking up the status quo for what the season is, and it was a delightfully weird drama that you might be into if you're into kind of spiritual, philosophical sci-fi.
Yeah. All I'm saying is Netflix has a habit of not showing me the extended previously ons when a new season starts. They better this time, because I don't remember almost anything when it was over 2 years ago.
Speaking of Season 2s, Cobra Kai Season 2 is launching on April 24th.
That got a Season 2?
It did. Karate Kid universe is sprawling.
Sure.
Now it's got 4 movies, and actually technically 5 if you included remake, but 4 movies in this universe, plus 2 seasons of a TV show. Who'd have thought it? But so that's the thing that's happening. And then we also got a premiere date for a new show coming from Netflix on June 14th. It's actually a little bit far ahead for this, but their first Indian original is coming on June 14th. It's called Leela, and it is a 6-episode series. It's a dystopian work of fiction set in the near future and follows the journey of Shalini, a mother in search of her daughter Leela, whom was lost one tragic summer. Shalani deals with various hardships in the course of her search, and a story of longing, faith, and loss. So it sounds like it's probably going to be an emotionally depressing journey of a story, but it does sound the sort of thing we'd be into.
Yeah, at least to try.
Yeah, so that's coming June 14th. So Netflix hitting us with all sorts of random things we didn't expect or know existed until now. And then next up, we did have a very brief teaser trailer for His Dark Materials, which is an adaptation of the book series. Previously adapted into The Golden Compass, which didn't do very well, so now we're getting the TV show. But sometimes this works out. Sometimes the TV show ends up being the truer adaptation that clicks with people, and that's why that's why they attempt it, I suppose, in the first place.
Yeah.
But
I said that's not because I really don't like these books. So the less truer the adaptation, the better.
I have never read the books. I never saw the movie. I've seen this 30-second teaser trailer, which tells me absolutely nothing other than showing me some cast members' faces.
Yeah. Oh, you see a bit of production value, though, I guess.
I suppose, yes.
But, I mean, this is BBC and HBO co-production, so I would expect it to look good.
Yeah, you got Daphne Keane from Logan as the main
character.
Yeah. You got James McAvoy in there. You got... the name is escaping me, but dude from The Wire is in there, is the older dude.
Yes. Yeah.
He's very good when he pops up, although I can't remember his name. But yes, so yeah, it looks like
we're getting a short tease now. I'd expect this sometime soonish. Maybe this will follow on from Game of Thrones.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We're also due Watchmen though, so
we are. Yeah.
So we'll see what comes next.
Yeah.
But that does take us on to the most important news of the week.
This is going to be something shit, isn't it?
This is.
I can already sense it.
No, this is by far the most important news of the week. In fact, I was tempted. Had I more time to prepare for this show?
You've had 2 weeks.
Not since this news went up.
Okay. Well, I don't know what it is, so I'll give you a benefit of the doubt.
So, had I more time to prepare, like, because anyone who, we make jokes about Connor drinking a lot, especially when he's watching TV shows, because...
this news.
Right?
Yeah.
Had I more time, people might know that I don't drink, but I might have been tempted to get champagne just for this news story, and maybe taking my first sip during this news story, because it seemed like the time to do it. Because Arrow is ending with Season 8. They announced that Season 8 of Arrow will be 10 episodes long, and it will be the final season of the show. So that'll be later this year. This will be done by Christmas. The show is over.
Every time you say it, I smile. There are very few things in life that really make me smile. Arrow ending is one of them.
We have a total of 18 episodes of Arrow left to suffer through. 18.
2019, the year Arrow died. I'm just pumped.
I'm just delighted. I'm just delighted. We talked about this news story at length on television from the multiverse. We went into theories and talking about what it meant for the other shows, and so I'd recommend you check out Television from the Multiverse from this week, either on YouTube or on the Television from the Multiverse podcast feed if you want to hear us go in depth on this. But it was obviously big enough to worth mentioning on the news show as well. So Arrow is ending with season 8, 10-episode final season. Interesting. Next up, Homecoming season 2.
Details.
Sam Esmail's not directing it.
Less interested.
I mean, obviously, yes. We one of the things we liked the most about that first season was Sam Esmail's direction. However, given how artistic and styled it was, I have to assume they will pick someone who is equally, or I mean not equally, but someone who is not just going to do a mainstream TV show.
Here's my suspicion. They'll get someone and they'll just want to replicate. They'll want the same look. They'll want the same style. However, I think you have to be very talented to pull that off. You have to know exactly what you're doing. So immediately, I'm trepidatious. I'm like, okay, whoever they hire has got to have what it takes to be able to pull that off.
Well, given that they're also changing the main star, I almost get the feeling this is, even though it's going to be continuing the overall story of the world, I get the feeling it's kind of anthology. In the sense that I do genuinely think they might actually get another good director who comes in and does one season.
Well, maybe. I would hope so.
Because I don't necessarily know if it will be the same style. I almost think whoever they get, it'll be their style for that season.
Fair enough. I think it depends who they get. If it's just it's a TV director that hasn't got much notable works behind them, I would expect them to follow in the footsteps of what's been established. If it's a name that people might recognize, I think it's more likely that they'll do what you're suggesting.
That's it. Just because you don't recognize the name doesn't mean
not necessarily
that it won't be good. So
no, and that's not to say I'm writing this off. I'm not going, oh, this is going to be terrible. I'm saying I'm less excited and I'm going in it more cautious than I would have been.
Yeah. Next up, Jack Ryan season 3. Carlton Cuse will be stepping down as showrunner, and they're looking for a new showrunner for season 3 of Jack Ryan. He did the first 2 seasons. He's the co-showrunner of Lost, a bunch of other stuff. The reason for this seems to be quite clear. He's actually co-showrunning Lock and Key at Netflix, and I suspect that because Jack Ryan had that weird 2-season pickup and then it went away, and now, I mean, obviously we've not had season 2 yet, but it's been renewed for season 3. I have to imagine the weird order of that and when it happened, probably
contractually obliged for the 2 seasons.
No, that's not what I'm thinking. I mean, maybe it was, but I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking because it was picked up for 2 seasons, or it was renewed for season 2 before season 1 even went out, and now it's been renewed for season 3 already, but he's already signed on for Lock and Key at Netflix. I think it's just a scheduling thing. I just think he can't physically do both.
Yeah, probably.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. The show isn't that great, so
it's fine. It's mostly all right.
But I don't really care that it's losing its show.
It could be a benefit to it in the long run.
Yeah. So
depending on who they get in.
I'm definitely more interested in Lock and Key than I am in more Jack Ryan. So
yeah, me too.
So by all means, go and spend your time on that and make sure that's up to par, please. That'd be delightful. Next up, Gremlins.
They're doing a Gremlins TV show?
Are you a fan of Gremlins? Have you seen the Gremlins movies?
I've seen the first one, but I mean, don't have any particular attachment to it.
There's a lack of enthusiasm here that does not surprise me, and yet I am disappointed all the same. So I don't know what I expected, to be honest. I don't know what I expected.
It's fine. I just don't have any major attachment to it.
There is a Gremlins animated series in development.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Yes. Potential series which is said to be a period piece that would follow Mr. Wing, the Chinese grandfather played in the films by Kei Luke, as a young man as he goes on adventures with his friendly Mogwai Gizmo. Okay, I can kind of see that work as an animated series. Okay,
yeah.
It's kind of weird that we're doing it now, but there's actually one interesting facet of this story that I've not said yet.
Go on.
It's for Warner Media's streaming service.
Okay.
So the real interest, I mean, it's obviously interesting as doing a Gremlins animated show, but the real interesting thing here, I think, is that now we're starting to get shows in development for their streaming service, for Warner's tiered streaming service.
Does not surprise me.
Nah, but I mean, we've been getting Apple for like a year now at this point. I guess we're starting to do the Warner Brothers dance.
Yeah. I mean, it's only a matter of time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They want in. They want that. They want that cash.
Interestingly, this is not one that we'd cover week to week, I don't think, anyway, or as a binge. But curious all the same. I'm still fascinated to see what this tiered system is going to be. Because they're going to have tiers of membership, and it's like, well, do you get like some ads if you only have the cheap one? Like, is there certain content that's just blocked off in certain?
I can see 2 tiers already. There'll be one tier which is back catalogue, right? And there'll be a tier which is original content. There'll be a tier which is newer content, not original content, but new movies. And then let's say after a year, those new movies will move into the lower category, the older stuff.
Which tier is more expensive, new movies or original content?
It's a good question.
That's the flaw I have with what you just said, is I don't understand how you value one over the other. Because on the one hand, the new movies cost a lot more to make, but they're not exclusively made by the profits of this service, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think original content probably it depends if they've got enough original content to launch it with.
That's why I'm thinking the cheapest one will have some ads.
Maybe, yeah. It depends how many tiers they're looking at as well, though.
Yeah, I don't know why. For some reason, I think the rumor was 3. I think that's when it came out, the idea there'd be 3 tiers. I didn't just pull that number from my arse. There was.
No, fair. No, I looked into it. You could well be right.
I feel like there was at least at some point someone in the rumor mill said 3 tiers.
Okay, so let's go with 3. You got 1, which is your stuff with ads. 2.
I would think it would be stuff with ads, which was back catalogue and original content, and then you'd have that without ads, and then the high tier would be like new movies would be there like 3 months after the theater, and you'd get all the new shiny films.
Yeah, pretty much.
That'd be my guess, but we'll see. All right, next up, did you ever watch Mad About You?
No.
The sitcom with Paul Reiser and...
No, I'm familiar with it, but
Hunt.
I've maybe seen an episode.
Mad About You is coming back. It is coming back as a limited event miniseries of a sitcom. This is so weird and convoluted. And it's coming from Spectrum Originals, which is the same place which the Bad Boys spin-off, LA's Finest, is coming from.
Okay.
So again, this is a relatively new platform.
Yeah. I was wondering why I didn't recognize the name, but sure. Are people asking for this? Is anyone asking for this? Like, seriously? I mean, other than the actors who want the paychecks.
I mean, I liked it well enough when it was on. I don't know if I would have said I wanted to come back.
Sure, yeah, no, that's what I mean. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm not saying people disliked it. I'm sure there were a lot of people who did like it when it was on. But was there a clamoring audience going, "We need more of this"?
I feel like there's very little of that for most sitcoms. I don't think sitcoms have the we want this to come back.
With the glaring exception of Friends, because people demand that comes back all the time.
Foolishly.
I'll agree with you. For better or worse.
Yes, foolishly people demand that come back. And it's not that I even hate Friends. I just think, as a product of its time, let it be in its time. We can move on, folks. God, Friends is so over. Like, I feel like everyone I knew growing up loved Friends. It was such and it's fine. It's a fine comedy, but everyone loved it. It was like the best thing ever to everyone else. I don't get it. Anyway, so Peter Tolan will serve as showrunner, a writer and executive producer. The 2 stars are both producing, of course, and Helen Hunt's actually going to direct the first episode. So they seem to be quite excited about it because they're producing and directing, and getting all these creative roles behind the camera. Which is probably some incentive for coming on board. Hey, you get to do all this extra stuff if you want. Flex your muscles. your creative muscles. So,
I mean, sure, why not? Everything else is coming back.
Except Firefly, I can't help but notice.
It's going to be the last thing ever to get a revival.
Yes. However, the other show by Joss Whedon, the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, has already been announced as in development for a revival.
Don't see any more Dollhouse, though, do you?
Was that supposed to hurt me? What was that?
I don't know.
I mean, I like Dollhouse, but I mean, you know, I'm not clamouring for it to come back.
You probably should be.
It's too late to like do any kind of thing with the original cast. You'd have to reboot it now, which I don't know if is exciting. I mean, it could end up being great, but like, it's not an exciting prospect on its own.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up, FX has ordered a half-hour comedy series. It's untitled. It's based on the rapper and comedian Lil Dicky. So Lil Dicky...
Never heard of him.
Yeah, nor have I. The series is centered on a suburban, neurotic man in his late 20s who has convinced himself that he is destined to be one of the best rappers of all time. Now he must convince his closest friends because with their help, he may actually convince the world. So it's loosely based on his life, and it's a comedy, FX. So there you go. That exists. Cool. Next up, HBO is given a series order to a show called Run. It's a comedy. Series follows Ruby, a young woman, a young woman living in a humdrum existence who one day gets a text inviting her to fulfill a youthful pact promising true love and self-reinvention by stepping out of her life to take a journey with her oldest flame. Merritt Weaver will star as Ruby. Domhnall Gleeson will star as Billy Johnson, a successful life guru from a wealthy Irish family.
Oh, he'll play the hell out of that role.
An Irish life guru.
That was the most interesting thing about that description, is him playing that.
You've got to believe in yourself. What was a life guru from Ireland? I don't
know.
You've got to believe you can kick Bishop Brennan up the arse. I don't know. Bishop Brennan was in an episode of Babylon 5.
Was he actually?
It was. The last episode of Babylon 5 I did. Bishop Brennan was in it, and I was cracking kick up the arse jokes all review, and I'm sure no one was appreciating them.
I'd have appreciated.
This judge is really grumpy. It's because Father Ted kicked him up the arse. Right, okay, next up. So we're out of the comedies, we're on to the other stuff. Netflix has put out a straight-to-series order for a live-action dramedy, a reinvention of The Babysitter's Club, which is based on the iconic M. Martin book series. It was actually turned into a one-season TV show back in like the late 80s, early 90s. You know, then obviously wasn't very successful because it got cancelled after one season.
It's one of those that I've never heard of, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You know, given what it is.
The Babysitter's Club centres around four characters: Christy Thomas, Mary Ann Spear, Claudia Quiche, Stacey McGill, and Dawn Schaefer. That's 5. Someone can't count.
Was it the number 4 or did they type 4?
The number it was the type 4. It was the word 4.
Okay, that's worse. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt of a
yeah, because if it was just a number, it could be a typo, and they just hit the wrong key. No. They wrote out the word 4.
I was thinking, hang on. One of those names was really long than I expected. Oh, that's 5.
They returned to the small town setting of Stony Brook, and I looked up it in Wikipedia to see, because that wasn't much of an explanation. Basically, they form like a babysitter's. I mean, they call it also Tales of Club, but they do a service. Like if you want a babysitter, they work as a team, and it's like, okay, so tonight you're babysitting this kid and you're babysitting that kid. It becomes a thing. Sure. But it's a live action dramedy. So I don't know what tone it's going for exactly. I mean, dramedy obviously says it's a bit comedic, but
yeah. Does it have a network?
This is Netflix. Netflix didn't it?
Netflix. Okay.
So I mean, if it has the right sense of humor, this actually may not be bad. As much as as much as a team of babysitters doesn't necessarily sound thrilling on its own. But
comedy? I mean, yeah, maybe.
I don't know why I'm getting like Desperate Housewives. Maybe without the murder mystery part, but like
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for this.
I'm getting quirky kind of characters, but there's like drama proper there as well. I don't know. That's,
Yeah,
that may be wildly incorrect. It's a vibe I'm getting.
we'll find out in about a year's time.
Speaking of Netflix, they've acquired the rights to adapt Gabriel Garcia Marquez's masterwork 100 Years of Solitude as a new series. This will be the first screen adaptation of the landmark novel. Netflix will produce a Spanish-language original series based on the novel, first published in 1967. 100 Years of Solitude is a sprawling story about life and death of a mythical town of Macondo, told through the history of 7 generations of the Buendia family over the course of a century. The novel, one of the seminal works of the 20th century Latin American fiction, is a classic in the magical realism genre. And apparently, the author has been very sketchy about letting anyone adapt this. He's been insistent forever that it not be adapted in anything but its original language because he thinks it would lose its.
I can appreciate that.
But Netflix are no doing original language. This is
Sure. I mean, not a big deal for them anymore, is it?
no. So it's finally happening.
That sounds ambitious as an adaptation. 7 generations.
Yeah,
over a
years.
century. Did you say?
Magical realism. What does that mean? Magical realism.
Suddenly, I want to read this book.
What is magical realism?
I've never even heard of this, I'll be quite honest with you. But this sounds right up my alley.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So, we'll move on then. So, that whole Thai cave rescue thing from last year?
That we went, yeah, this will be a movie next year.
Yeah, and there's like multiple movies in the works. Well, one of the movies has become a TV show.
Yeah.
At Netflix, no less. Netflix has boarded the SK Global Entertainment's project to bring to screen the dramatic Thai cave rescue of 2018. It is now envisioned as a Netflix original series rather than a movie, presumably a mini-series. Otherwise, I don't know what season 5 is going to be.
I dread to imagine.
Look at that! Another team of people have been trapped in the cave.
Or they just get trapped. Is it the same team? They get trapped in different places every year.
This season on Thai cave rescue. They're in a trench. Oh dear.
We're awful people, aren't we?
What was awful about that? We're making fun of the idea of them like monetizing it to the extreme. That's not making light of the original situation.
Yeah, I know, but it came across as that, I think.
I know what I meant. Next up, Netflix is continuing to push into originals. They're doing an African original. They've ordered a South African teen series called Blood and Water. The series follows a local teen who discovers her family's secret past while navigating the complicated world of South African high school.
Look, all I'm saying is, better be better than the last South African show that Netflix did.
This is true. Their first South African original didn't turn out so hot.
No.
We did try it.
We did.
So hopefully Blood and Water works out to be a little bit better. But I mean, as for the description, it doesn't give us a lot to go on. It just sounds like a drama.
Yeah.
But hey. Next up, Brie Larson is signed on to star and executive produce in a drama series that has scored a straight-to-series order at Apple. We were looking up for other reasons. We were looking up things before this, and we noticed that Apple have officially 23 ordered series. 23.
They don't have a goddamn platform yet.
It's coming.
They've got nothing.
Yeah, but now they can launch with like 8 shows in the first week.
There are like rumors that they're being really overly hands-on with the content. Did you see this earlier in the week?
I think I glanced at an article. I don't know if I actually.
Yeah, how Disney are like, yeah, okay, PG-13 is the limit on this. Apple are kind of taking that to they're ordering shows that shouldn't be that that need to have like stuff that beyond that in some of the cases, but are still coming in and going no, family friendly, tone it down, and they've been really hands on with the to the showrunners, and some of them are not too happy about it. Yeah, which I mean, I know it's all rumors and stuff, but given Apple's infamous love of keeping everything in their system and doing it all their way, I can believe it.
Yes. Apple can kiss my ass, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I would much rather spend half the price on a Windows PC and get twice the performance out of it. Quite thanks.
I just did.
Hey, you can spend $2,000 on this Mac. Well, yeah, I could also spend half that on a PC and get better parts in it.
Yeah, and that was a rush job.
Yeah. So, yes, Brie Larson, Untitled series, is based on the real-life experiences of a CIA undercover operative, Amaryllis Fox, and her upcoming memoir, Life Undercover, Coming of Age in the CIA, which will be published by Knopf on October 15th. The series is described as a look at a young woman's journey in the CIA told through the prism of her closest relationships. So, you know, if this was something that was on a network, I'd be rolling my eyes at it. But it's Brie Larson and it's on a streaming platform. Now, admittedly, we don't have any sort of basis.
We have no benchmark at all for whatever.
Yeah, for what Apple is, but
yeah,
at least I can.
We're assuming at least cable quality.
Yes. And with Larson involved, I assume this will be like a one and done. This will be a one season thing. I don't think this will be
probably
ongoing. Yeah,
I suspect a lot of Apple shows might be like that, given the amount of stars they have attached to some of them.
Yeah, I can see that. Speaking of streaming services yet to launch, Disney Plus is developing a scripted series that will focus on iconic Disney villains. It is currently titled Book of Enchantments and will be based on the Villains book series penned by Serena Valentino. It will tell origin stories of Disney characters like Ursula from The Little Mermaid, the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, and the Wicked Queen from Snow White. Michael Seitzman will write and produce the series under his Manic Productions company.
It seems a perfectly reasonable idea. I assume these are going to be, anthology episodes rather than seasons.
You would think. They'll run out of villains quite quickly though to do one episode each.
I don't know about that. There's a lot of Disney villains.
Fair enough.
There's like more than 50 films just in their, Disney Classics line. Take a villain from each of those.
You got 4 seasons then.
It's a good start.
Yeah, I have no interest in this whatsoever. I do not care about this.
Yeah, I get it.
In any way, shape, or form. So, are you excited? Are you into it?
Not particularly, but I could be convinced.
Next up, Sci-Fi have officially given an order to Resident Alien. I don't know if you remember this one, when it's popped up before. Alan Tudyk is in talks for the lead character. It's an adaptation of the Dark Horse comic series, which is co-created by Peter Hogan and Steve Parkhouse. So, Resident Alien is described as a twisted fish out of water story that follows a crash-landed alien named Harry, who would be played by Alan Tudyk, after taking the identity of a small-town Colorado doctor. Slowly begins to wrestle with the moral dilemma of his secret mission on Earth. His experiences ultimately lead him to ask the question, are human beings worth saving? With Alan Tudyk attached, I'm on board. That may be good anyway, but Alan Tudyk tells me something about it, and
yeah,
him as an alien, him doing his third rock from the sun, yes, I will take that.
Yep.
So there
Pretty
you go.
Much.
So that's happening. I don't think he's 100% yet, but the show's 100% happening. It has been ordered.
Cool.
So finally on the news this week, it's actually quite a week. Do you know what this is? We're after pilot season, but we haven't quite got to the series pickups yet for the networks.
Yeah,
so
that'll be another month or so.
Yeah, another month or so. Month and a half maybe. But we're actually entered a little quiet period. So even though some news stories are from last week, so there's kind of 2 weeks of news here, it's actually a quieter episode overall.
Well, makes a change.
So, yeah, finally then, FX has landed the rights to turn Don Winslow's acclaimed Cartel trilogy into a TV series. The series will encompass Winslow's 2005 novel, The Power of the Dog, the 2015 follow-up, The Cartel, and the just-published conclusion, The Border. The book trilogy spans a 45-year period and follows a DEA agent named Art Keller through America's long-running war on drugs. The through line is a blood feud between the DEA agent and a Mexican drug kingpin, Adan Barrera. Much like the actual drug war, the books are often shocking in brutality and raw inhumanity, portraying Mexican cartel power struggles, narcos and cops on both sides of the border, traffickers and drug mules, lawyers, journalists, junkies, teen hitmen, asylum-seeking children, and politically corrupt from Mexico poppy fields to the White House. So, all that sounds
like it's for me.
Yeah, I'm not like it sounds like a crime thing, and it's not something I gravitate towards.
No.
So, but hey, I can see FX wanting to put a lot of money into this and wanting this to be, to go alongside their true crime series that they've got.
I can see the audience for it, but just we're not it.
Not that this is based specifically on a real story, but obviously generally what it's doing is based on the way the world is.
The ideas. Yeah.
So, there you go. That is this week's TV news.
Yeah. I just quick thing that I wanted to mention. I know you don't give a shit, but Amazon's Lord of the Rings series. Now, I mentioned a few weeks ago that they were teasing little updates. They were putting like a little stuff on Twitter with a map.
I've been on.
You saw this and chose not to do this, didn't you?
I have been on the edge of my seat. All these little teases.
I've really been checking into them, but there's been people digging the deep on these. Now, obviously, we got a lot of rumors a while back that this was going to be a young Aragorn show. Maybe not now, because with all these teasers, and Amazon officially confirmed that it's going to be set in the Second Age. For anyone not familiar, Lord of the Rings is split into like 3 ages in its history, and the start of the first movie, where they defeat Sauron.
That's the Jurassic period, yes.
Yeah. That's the end of the Second Age. So everything in this show should be before that. So it might be Sauron in power, perhaps. There are some little things on the map that I won't get too nerdy, but imply that there might be multiple timeline stuff going on. So maybe we will see a young Aragorn as well, and use a framing device, which might be where those rumors came from. Because there is definitely things that are post Second Age on the map, and given how really nitpicky they've been with this, and very specific choices that they've used on there, it would be weird for that to be a mistake. But hey, people care about Lord of the Rings, just not you. Also, in general, I think it's good news because it's pretty far removed from the movies, so a bit of free reign not to feel all prequely.
I did see this headline,
and you just skipped right over it.
I didn't even make a choice. It didn't look like something that was important.
Yeah, it's relatively important.
I mean, what's the equivalent for something now like? Oh, the new Buffy show confirmed to be set in the Hellmouth on Cleveland.
No, it'll be like they're doing a new Firefly show, and it's set during the war. Right, that gives you a time period where you go, okay, I've got an idea of what this show is now.
I don't know if I'd be excited for that, to be honest.
No. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I wasn't likening to that. Just in the sense of it gives you an idea of what the show actually is. It narrows down as to what you can expect, and this is the same here. Of okay, it removes all of the is it the young Aragorn, and we're going to do all the Legolas friendship and all that stuff that we could have played with.
All fantasy shite, though, right? I mean, it's still elves and orcs and hobbits and.
Technically, yes. Although I probably wouldn't expect hobbits in this time period very much.
Okay.
So, I mean, they could do, but typically speaking, not really. Depends how fast and loose they play with it.
All right. Don't trust the elves.
That's good advice.
So that's this week's news. But yeah, so I mean, I think what to wrap up with here. I mean, let's not pretend there's any point in trying to pick a favorite episode of the week because there's not enough really stuff on right now.
Oh, do you know what? This week is interesting though because there's actually a debate as to what it would be, for me at least, between at least two things where I'm like, oh, which one is it?
What's the debate between?
Doom Patrol and Star Trek Discovery. Both of those had, Doom Patrol had arguably its weakest episode with 3, but still very good.
Mm-hmm.
And Star Trek Discovery had maybe its best episode with 8. So, it's a close comparison. Not sure where I come down. It's tough.
I probably lean to Doom Patrol, but it's just a smidge.
I'm thinking I'm have to edge Doom Patrol,
Just
but
a
it is
smidge.
close. And this is the closest we've been in a long time.
But yeah, so what I thought was worth doing though is just to kind of make clear, because obviously we had a week off from a couple of things. Television for the Multiverse did come back as well this weekend, which is me and Connor talking about DC shows such as Doom Patrol and Flash and Supergirl and Black Lightning and all that stuff. So make sure if you're interested in those shows, you can check out our thoughts on those. Obviously they're on the YouTube page, or you can get them on the Television for the Multiverse podcast feed. Same with Star Trek Discovery, of course. We review that every week. Netflix, on YouTube, it's just on YouTube, obviously, but in the audio feed, there's the Star Trek Viewers Log Modern Series podcast feed. That's what that's on, and that'll also have like the new Picard show and stuff on it. But there's also the Classic Series feed, which is us working our way through right now Next Generation, but we already finished the original series and did the original movies, so that's ongoing too. But yeah, so I'm kind of plugging things, but I'm just kind of trying.
I'm just looking at the channel as to what we did since the last news episode. We finished off Umbrella Academy.
We did. That's all wrapped up.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and there's stuff coming up. Obviously, now we have the OA coming later this month. We have a French show called Osmosis coming at the end of the month as well. We're going to try from Netflix. Hopefully that ends up being okay. So.
Yeah, we got Hannah launching that same day.
On Amazon, yeah. Obviously, episode 1 already went up for the Super Bowl, so we've already reviewed episode 1, but the rest of the season is coming at the end of the month. So
yeah, honestly, once the OA starts in about 2 weeks' time,
we're
quite
packed.
busy.
Yeah,
streaming shows.
We're packed with episodes to review. So
yeah, right through till the end of April, I think we're pretty much covered.
Yeah, we'll be very busy for a while once we hit that period.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, obviously you can support the show and the channel by going over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV if you want to support us over there. You can do it for as little as $1 per month. You get access to a bonus thing per month, either Almost Cancelled Extra or 121 Extra. Almost Cancelled Extra is TV news topic, or not news topics, sorry, TV discussion topics, of some kind.
So this month's will be soon.
Yeah, that'll be soon, and the next one is Almost Cancelled. That alternates with 121 Extra, which is the same kind of thing, but for movie topics. So they alternate month to month. You get that at the $1 tier. You also, starting this month, get a bonus episode of Screams After Midnight, the horror movie podcast that I do with Tim. So if you're interested in that, you can check out that too. So you go have a look at the Patreon. You can also support us, of course, by liking, subscribing, all that kind of thing. There is merchandise over in both the US and the UK stores. There's links in the description for those. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?